All right, so let's talk about Kim Kardashian. When you hear that name, what's the first image? Is it like paparazzi chaos? Or maybe just a headline?
Probably all of that, right? But there's actually a really complex story underneath all the surface stuff.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing today. This isn't just a quick recap. We're going to really dive deep into the choices, the moments, maybe even the sheer determination that took her from being a kid in Beverly Hills to, well, Kim Kardashian.
It's quite a path when you trace it back. We're using the transcript from the Kim Kardashian story by Papakana on YouTube. It really tries to unpack her past to figure out, her lasting impact.
Yeah, let's cut through the noise a bit. We're looking for those key moments, the kind of strategic thinking, the things that really built this whole phenomenon.
She was definitely born into privilege, October 21st, 1980. Her father, Robert Kardashian, his family were Armenian immigrants who actually did incredibly well in the meatpacking industry.
Right, they became quite wealthy. And then Robert shifted into law and business. He even sold a company, Radio and Records, for what, like $12.5 million?
Yeah, serious money. But her mom, Kris Jenner, came from a more middle-class situation. Her parents owned a candle store, I think.
A candelabra candle store, yeah. So you've got these kind of different backgrounds merging right at the start. It's interesting.
It really is. And you wonder how that maybe played out in the family dynamic, Robert's established wealth providing one thing, but maybe Kris's background brought that hustle, that drive to build something actively.
You definitely see that drive later on, for sure. So they grew up in this huge Beverly Hills mansion, Tower Lane. I read there were only like 3 houses on the whole street.
Wow, yeah. A real insulated world for Kim and her older sister, Kourtney. They were apparently inseparable, often dressed alike. Classic rich kid stuff, fancy family vacations.
But here's something crucial, especially in that world. Connections start early.
Oh, absolutely. Attending a school like Buckley, where the tuition wasn't it pushing 40 grand a year back then?
Something like that, yeah. Around 33 to 39,000. It wasn't just about the classes. It was about who you met.
Exactly. It was embedding yourself in that social network.
And the big connection from Buckley was, of course, Paris Hilton. But not just her, right? There was Nicole Richie, Kimberly Stewart, TJ Jackson, Allison Azoff, kids with famous parents.
A whole crew. And interestingly, amidst all that Beverly Hills glitz, there was supposedly a pretty strong religious element too.
Yeah, Bible study, saying grace at dinner, Bible stories before bed. Seems kind of different from the image, doesn't it?
It does. But even in that seemingly perfect world, things weren't always stable. The parents' divorce, that must have been a big shakeup.
Huge. Robert found out about Kris's affair in 1990. You gotta think, even with all the privilege, experiencing that kind of family disruption shapes you, right? Especially for Kim and Kourtney.
For sure. It likely creates a different kind of drive, maybe for control and security later on.
Right. And while that was happening, Kim's dealing with normal, well, maybe not normal, but teenage things, praying her chest wouldn't get bigger. Apparently she got teased about it.
Oof. Teenage years. Then Kris remarried pretty quickly, didn't she? To Bruce Jenner in 91.
Yep, the Olympic champion. Suddenly, it's this blended family. They apparently called themselves the Janashians.
The Janashians. And, while Kris got settlements from Robert, the source suggests that initial level of extreme luxury kind of dipped after the divorce.
Right, so marrying Bruce, the famous athlete, was maybe a way to get back to a certain lifestyle. Meanwhile, Robert remarried too, bought a new place. The kids visited him on weekends.
And by high school, Kim and Kourtney were actually living in a rental with Kris and Bruce. And then smack in the middle of all this personal family stuff.
The O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah, you can't overstate the impact of that. Robert Kardashian became this household name overnight because of his role on the defense team.
Totally. Regardless of how anyone feels about the trial itself, it put the Kardashian name out there in a massive way. Kind of foreshadowing, huh?
Definitely. But back then, Kim was still just, a teenager. Figuring things out, obsessed with fashion, jewelry.
Maybe not the star student. Apparently, Kourtney bossed her around a bit. There's some anecdote about a DKNY game. But she was definitely street smart, or maybe Beverly Hills smart.
Had dreams of being famous, but realistically thought she might just be a housewife.
Her first real boyfriend was TJ Jackson, Michael Jackson's nephew.
Wow. Even in Beverly Hills, an interracial relationship then wasn't totally the norm. Robert apparently gave her some advice about it.
Yeah, and things got serious after TJ's mom was tragically murdered. He even lived with the Jenners for a bit. Kim visited Neverland Ranch.
Imagine that. just casually visiting Neverland. It's these kinds of early experiences, even on the fringes of massive fame, that must give you a different perspective on public life.
For sure. Then, a pretty significant moment. She lost her virginity to TJ before she was 15.
And her mom, Chris, gave her birth control, which is, well, proactive parenting, I guess.
Then, Sweet 16 gets the dream car, a white BMW, and promptly crashes it. Has to get a job at a local clothing boutique called Body to pay for repairs.
Okay, but see, that's where things start to shift, right? That job wasn't just a punishment, it sparked something else.
Totally. Her entrepreneurial side kicked in. She started noticing things, seeing opportunity.
First it was pagers, accessorizing them and selling them to boutiques.
Yeah. And then the Manolo Blahnik thing. This is wild. She borrowed $3,500 from her dad.
Yeah.
Bought 5 pairs of Manolos, turned around and sold them on eBay for $2,500 each.
Whoa, what's the math on that? That's like $9,000 profit?
Exactly, $9,000 profit. The source even compares her to Cher from Clueless. Popular, fashionable, but maybe not rolling in cash herself after the divorce. Just doing teenage stuff, painting nails, dieting, dressing up like the Spice Girls.
It paints a picture, doesn't it? Then, kind of out of the blue, she elopes.
Yeah, with Damon Thomas in 1999. He was an up-and-coming music producer, totally different from TJ.
Feels like a real break from that Beverly Hills mold she grew up in. Maybe wanting something different.
Maybe. She moved to Northridge, didn't even tell her parents first. Just went to Vegas and got married in January 2000.
But that marriage, it didn't sound happy.
Not at all. The source describes it as pretty controlling, even abusive. Damon apparently made her quit her job, cut off contact with people. There were mentions of verbal and physical abuse.
Yeah, specific incidents mentioned. Being locked in a bathroom, thrown against a door.
Yeah.
Really awful stuff. A huge contrast to her upbringing.
Definitely. They separated in early 2003. Then, more heartbreak. Her dad got diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer.
That must have been devastating for the whole family. His death impacted everyone differently, it seems.
Yeah. Rob Jr. focused on work. Courtney opened her boutique Smooch. Chloe apparently lost hair from the stress. And Kim, well, shortly after her dad died, she took a trip to Cabo with Ray J.
Right. And that's where the home movie, as the source calls it, was filmed, October 2003.
Such a complex time, dealing with immense grief, and then this other path emerges. That Cabo trip would obviously change everything.
Absolutely. But it's important to remember, even before the tape became public, she was already trying to build her own thing.
True. That closet organizing business.
Yeah.
Personal styling. It started right after her eBay success.
And her first big client was Brandy, right? Who she knew through Damon Thomas.
Yeah. She even got a tiny taste of reality TV working on Brandy's pregnancy special, Brandy's Special Delivery.
And Brandy's brother is Ray J. So that's the connection there. They met at a party in early 2003 while Kim was technically still married to Damon.
Instant spark, apparently. Then came that Cabo trip later in the year where they filmed the tape.
So the tape exists, but it's not public yet. She's still hustling with the styling business.
Totally. And using those connections, she styled Sugar Ray Leonard's wife, Bernadette.
Okay.
And that led to Cindy Crawford, Serena Williams, Rob Lowe, Kenny G.
Wow, okay. So she was really building a serious client list based on those networks, even without being famous herself yet.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Courtney and Chloe started their boutique, Dash. Kim wasn't super involved at first because of styling, but she'd bring her clients and friends there to shop.
And Dash itself was almost the subject of a reality show first, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the original pitch, a show about the sisters running the store.
Interesting how that evolved. But back to her personal life. She and Ray J broke up around the end of 2005.
His book apparently suggests they both suspected the other of cheating. Then things got messy with Brandy.
Oh yeah, the American Express card incident. Huge amount, like $120,000.
Yeah, allegedly charged to the Norwood family card. The Kardashians denied Kim did it, and the case got dismissed, but it definitely caused a rift.
So relationship over, friendship strained. What's next?
Targeting Hollywood.
Yeah.
Nick Lachey had just split from Jessica Simpson.
Oh, right. Prime tabloid fodder.
Kim apparently made a play for him, trying to date him for the status boost, sent him a muffin basket. And conveniently, paparazzi were there when they went to see the Da Vinci Code.
Conveniently. Sounds like she was learning how to play the game.
Totally. And then came the masterclass, pairing up with Paris Hilton.
The strategic alliance. Second half of 2006, they were suddenly everywhere together.
Kim literally said she wanted to be seen, quote, like Pepsi Cola, Just constant visibility, every party, every event. TMZ was all over them.
And Paris actually hired Kim to organize her closet, right? Around the time Paris and Nicole Richie were on the outs.
And Kim filled that bestie spot. She even appeared on The Simple Life a few times in 2006.
That year, 2006, really feels like the pivot point. She went from being sort of known in LA circles to being a legitimate tabloid name, mostly just by being attached to Paris.
The source lists an insane number of events they attended together. Game launches, fashion shows, nightclubs, Hyde, Entourage premiere, Popeye's drive-thru, Aqua, DHH photo ops, Koi with Benji Madden, T-Mobile Sidekick launch, Vegas clubs, charity events, ESPY awards, P. Diddy's white party.
Wow, nonstop. She was putting in the work, making sure she was seen.
And get this, also spotted at a Kanye West party in September 2006.
Yeah.
No picture survived, apparently, but the connection was there early on.
Interesting. And then that famous photo of her in Paris on Bondi Beach in Australia.
Right before the storm broke.
Yeah.
It's like the last moment of that particular era.
Because in early December 2006, the rumors started a sex tape featuring Kim was being shopped around.
Kevin Dickinson from In Touch Weekly got the scoop, apparently reached out. Paris supposedly freaked out about the news.
And Kim's initial reaction was denial, right? Claiming it wasn't her. There were even weird rumors about other acts on the tape, theories about someone else entirely.
Yeah, total denial at first, but TMZ confirmed it was real. On January 17th, 2007, awkwardly, her first big magazine cover interview for Complex had just been done.
Where she denied the tape existed. Ouch.
A major ouch.
Okay.
Then she had to tell her mom. Chris apparently had a meltdown, but then shifted immediately into manager mode, strategizing.
That reaction from Chris is key, isn't it? Not trying to bury it, but figuring out how to manage it, maybe even leverage it.
Seems like it. Vivid Entertainment announced they had the rights on February 7th. Kim gave an interview to Extra, admitting it was her, but saying she wanted it private.
But the details around the release. Proof of age provided by both her and Ray J, permission from the copyright holders. It implies some level of agreement, despite the public statements.
Joe Francis, the Girls Gone Wild guy, reportedly helped broker the deal between Kim and Vivid. She met the owner, Stephen Hirsch.
And the money. Reports vary wildly. One source mentioned in a book suggests maybe $300,000 upfront each for Kim and Ray J.
But other reports claimed $5 million, although some think that was maybe just a PR number. Who knows for sure?
Regardless, Kim Kardashian Superstar dropped on March 21st, 2007. Vivid apparently made over $1 million online in the first month alone.
And just like that, Kim Kardashian was a millionaire. And a household name, for better or worse.
What about those persistent rumors that Kim or Chris actually leaked it themselves?
Stephen Hirsch from Vivid has always denied that. But also, as soon as the tape blew up, the friendship with Paris Hilton just disintegrated.
Yeah, Paris made that nasty comment later about cottage cheese in a big trash bag.
Kim responded on Howard Stern, said she learned a lot from Paris. But yeah, the friendship was toast. The power dynamic had clearly shifted.
Kim's notoriety, even from Scandal, was suddenly eclipsing Paris's fame.
But Kim didn't just become the girl from the tape. Very quickly, something else was announced.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians, a reality show produced by Ryan Seacrest's company.
The same company that produced The Simple Life, which had just been canceled. Talk about timing.
It's almost too perfect, isn't it? Meanwhile, Ray J, his career didn't exactly get the same boost. Someone apparently called him collateral damage.
Oof. The official Kardashian story is that a casting director, Dina Katz, suggested the show idea to Chris. Chris was hesitant at first.
Then they met with Seacrest. E! Network initially passed on it.
But then Lindsay Lohan had a show fall through, E! reconsidered, and bam, deal done in like 36 hours. Filming started April 2007.
That speed is incredible. They saw the moment, the intense public interest generated by the tape, and seized it. Controversy created a ready-made audience.
In the months leading up to the premiere, Kim had to stay visible. Attending parties, like the Anna Nicole Smith tribute, spending less time with Paris. Apparently, she even tried out for The Hills but didn't make the cut. Had a MySpace fight with Haley Duff.
Gotta stay in the headlines, right? There was a Dash fashion show. In Touch magazine ranked celebrity butts. Kim came in fourth.
And then, October 14, 2007, Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered.
Initial ratings weren't huge, under 1 million viewers, but it grew incredibly fast.
Became the top Sunday night cable show for women 1834. Critics ripped it apart, obviously. Questioned why these people were famous.
But viewers were hooked. The source mentions the show's appeal being partly due to borderline inappropriate material. Kim's Playboy shoot, Kylie dancing on a pole, a swimsuit shoot at Joe Francis's house.
Yeah, pushing boundaries.
But
For her 27th birthday that year, Kim wished for world peace.
right. The success of Keeping Up was the game changer. It let her control her narrative, build this persona, connect directly with millions. It turned scandal into staying power.
And then came the era of consolidating that fame, building the empire, and navigating more public relationships. Reggie Bush.
Met him at the ESPY Awards in 2006 through Matt Leinart, apparently. They went public in early 2007. Kiji, the celebrity couple name.
He was even on Keeping Up sometimes. Constant tabloid buzz about them getting married or pregnant.
Which Kim always denied. They broke up in late 2009, got back together briefly, then split for good.
But by then, the focus was clearly shifting towards monetization, cashing in.
Oh yeah, the endorsement deals started flooding in. Shoe Dazzle, Famous Cupcakes, Carl's Jr., the list goes on.
And launching her own stuff. The Fit in Your Jeans by Friday workout DVD in 2009.
Her fragrance in 2010 was apparently Sephora's top seller that year.
Fashion lines with Kourtney and Khloe, expanding the Dash stores, jewelry lines, getting paid huge amounts, like up to $250,000, just for club appearances.
And she was way ahead of the curve on social media monetization. Brands paying for tweets, early influencer stuff.
That W magazine cover in November 2010 kind of marked a shift too, calling her a highbrow pop culture icon.
Interesting. So after Reggie, there were rumors about other athletes and celebs. Michael Capone, Cristiano Ronaldo, Miles Austin.
Dated Miles Austin briefly, yeah. Conflicting schedules, apparently. Then, Kris Humphries.
The basketball player. Met him in October 2010 while filming Kourtney and Kim Take New York.
He apparently wasn't keen on the Kardashians at first, but it was a super fast, very public romance. Paparazzi everywhere. He started appearing on the show.
Engaged by May 2011. Big announcement in People magazine.
Then the wedding in August 2011. Total media circus. The Vera Wang dress, the shoes, the guests, Seacrest producing. E supposedly made $18 million from the specials.
Italian honeymoon. Looked like a fairy tale, but...
Yeah, trouble started almost immediately. You saw the tension on Kourtney and Kim Take New York when they moved to Minneapolis briefly.
And then, just 72 days after the wedding, Kim filed for divorce, October 31st, 2011.
Cue the massive speculation. Was the whole marriage just a publicity stunt?
Kim strongly denied that in a blog post. But you can't deny the ratings for the wedding episodes were huge, over 10 million viewers.
And Keeping Up got renewed right after for a reported $50 million. The divorce wasn't finalized until June 2013. Humphries eventually auctioned the engagement ring.
That 72-day marriage is still such a talked-about moment. Whatever the truth, the media frenzy and the show's success were definitely linked to it.
And then
Kanye.
Kimye. Their history actually goes way back further than people might realize.
They first met in 2003 through Brandy, apparently. Kanye was engaged to someone else then, Alexis Pfeiffer.
They were seen out together publicly as early as September 2007, but both were with other partners, Kim with Reggie, Kanye with Amber Rose.
Kanye even had a cameo on some weird pilot Kim did called Alligator Boots. Then they both went through breakups.
And Amber Rose later claimed Kanye cheated on her with Kim during their relationship.
Which Kanye denied, though he apparently said he wished he had. He also showed up on Kourtney and Kim Take New York. There was definitely some flirting going on.
He supposedly helped with scenes for Kim's attempt at a music career with that song Jam, Turn It Up, in 2010. Right. But he wasn't invited to the wedding special with Kris Humphries.
Interesting. But after that marriage ended so spectacularly, that's when Kim and Kanye finally connected romantically.
Kanye called her. They started being seen out. Paris Fashion Week seems to be where it really clicked.
They made it official at the Tribeca Film Festival. Kanye wrote lyrics about falling for her. Kim confirmed it on Twitter.
And suddenly, they were the power couple. Bigger house, Oprah interview, talking about kids, lavish gifts.
Then the pregnancy announcement. Kanye just dropped it during a concert in Atlanta. Kim confirmed it on her blog.
Northwest was born June 15th, 2013. Kim started talking about wanting more privacy around then. They bought a huge $9 million property.
And the engagement. Kanye renting out AT&T Park in San Francisco on Kim's birthday, October 21st. Full orchestra, massive ring.
Totally over the top. Then the wedding in Florence, Italy in May 2014. Forte di Belvedere, Andrea Bocelli singing, custom Givenchy dress, Bruce walking her down the aisle.
That marriage really did seem to elevate Kim's status in a different way. Kanye opened doors to high fashion, the art world, Vogue cover. It shifted her image again.
Yeah, the beginning of what the source called her Hollywood paradise.
So when you look back at the whole arc, it's quite something.
It really is. And that brings us pretty much up to that point in this deep dive. From those early Beverly Hills days, the family stuff, that unexpected business sense she showed early on.
Right, through navigating the huge scandal of the tape, the launch of the show, those very public relationships.
It's this wild mix of, privilege, but also serious ambition and, you gotta say, incredibly smart media management. And that marriage to Kanye really was a massive turning point for her cultural perception.
No question. It cemented her place not just as a reality star, but as a global figure in fashion and culture.
So thinking back on it all, maybe your first impression of Kim Kardashian was just one thing, but has digging into the journey kind of shifted that perspective at all for you?
It definitely adds layers. You see the calculation, maybe, but also the drive that came from different places, family history, early experiences.
What does her whole story really tell us about how fame even works now, how influence is built in this century?
That's the big question, isn't it? And there's that line from the Source video that kind of lingers. A bear can juggle, but he's not famous.
Right. It makes you wonder, what is Kim Kardashian's actual talent? Beyond being famous for being famous, what's the skill, the thing that's given her this incredible staying power for so long?
Is it business acumen? Understanding media? Connecting with an audience? Maybe it's a combination of all of it.
Definitely something to mull over.
Yeah.
What's the secret ingredient that keeps her so relevant?